Morning, Megan, how's it going?
Good.
Good weekend, or, It's all right?
I texted her, I was like, I'm lost.
Do you know each other?
Yeah, we
Oh.
went to school together.
Oh, okay, well, that's cool, so, so you found Building 8 finally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was all the way over there at the Technology Center, because it said 800 on the side, so I was like, oh, this is probably Building 8.
No, it's sorry about that.
Yeah, somebody told me, they were like, you're in the wrong area. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So do you have any classes over at the Lubbock Center? Okay.
Just here.
You just out here, so now you know. Building, where are your other classes at? Building 3? Two? Okay. 2 and 3 are back over about, let me figure out where I'm facing. This actually faces the parking lot, so it's kind of that way. If you'll go back, there are signs. They're just, if you're going too fast, you go right past them.
Yeah.
So.
I have no idea, to be honest. My name says that.
It happens, so don't panic on that one. Let's see.
Getting into math here was hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had to, pre-test into the class.
That would be an issue.
Because she told me that I might not know her information, and I was like, I took this class in high school as a prep class, and she was like, okay, take my pre-test. I did.
Interesting. Well, math is one of those kickers. Where are we at time-wise? Okay, school should be showing up.
Math is my
Achilles?
subject.
You love math, huh? Okay, well then, that's all right. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going, JC?
Good. How are you?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm hoping that I can get my tire fixed today. It's just, and my husband's no help. He's disabled, it makes it sound like he had a stroke, and so I'll explain. He had a stroke 2 years ago, either today or tomorrow, which was Friday the 13th, 2 years ago. Saturday morning, I woke up and he was throwing up, and he couldn't do anything, he couldn't walk, and so we had to call. I called my son and said, you need to come over and help me with him, and so we get over there and we can't even get him up. He can't even stand up straight. His balance is off. He had a stroke back in the cerebellum, which is where balance and nausea are controlled, and short-term memory. So you tell him something and he won't remember it, but he can tell you what the batting average was for somebody 20 years ago. Good morning, how's it going? Abernathy? Oh, there's Crosbyton, there's Lorenzo. Hi. So we're at the 2-year anniversary right now. And I always like to blame it on Friday the 13th for some reason, so. Some of the worst, bad days, car trouble, happen on Friday 13th for me, so. All right. So, let's see. That's what I forgot to check and see. We need to make sure we're getting those quizzes taken over the chapters. I think, let me go look. And I realized that I had the wrong point scale in the chapter 3 quiz. It should have been a 15-point scale instead of 100. It took me 30 minutes to figure out how much each was supposed to be worth. It was embarrassing. But you're going to see that those have been refigured. Let's see. Glance down. You guys may end up being my favorite class, I think. Am I in this class? Make sure if I'm going to say that, yeah. Yep, the only one who's got to do it. Jesse's got to make all that up. So I spent more time working on getting you into this class than I did for about a half a day. I was like, oh my gosh. But we got you in. So yeah, you guys all took the quizzes. You only get one shot, sorry, but they're only worth 15 points. And did I talk about the best way to pass them? When you're reading those chapters, you have an hour to take the quizzes. There's only 2 quizzes left, I think. Maybe one more. There's supposed to be 8, so there should be 4 technically. I'll get it together. When you're reading, I would go in before you take the test, because you guys particularly at SPC, they open up at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're open up until midnight. So on Fridays, you have lots of time to take the quiz, because I know people work. When you go in, open up the e-textbook, read through it. Did you find the e-textbook too?
Yes.
Okay. You can put in the page number or the chapter, you know, you can locate them through the table of contents. But as you go through, make a list of the headings and what e-pages they're on. And I'm telling you how you can cheat, but by golly, I am also telling you that you need to look at the chapter before you try to do it. Because you've only got an hour, and if you're having to go in totally cold, it's very, very hard to do. So go in, make a list of the headings, and then put what e-page it's on, and then when you come to a question over it, you can flip over. So that way we'll have 15s instead of less than 15. I'll just phrase it that way, okay? So, missing. Claire. Okay. Okay. Today's 9/13. And, you know, I felt inundated with 9/11 memorial stuff over the weekend. It was so traumatic when it happened, and then to have to go through it again 20 years later is very difficult to deal with. All right, I'm going to look through some of those narrative outlines, and from what you put there, I'm going to see if I can figure out what you were writing about, okay? So I'm going to do this very quickly, and you're actually going to be watching me grade them. And if you got it turned in, you're going to get the 25 points. But remember, this is a process. So in this class, you have the outlines to do on 3 out of 4. You have peer revisions to do. You have drafts to do. So there's a lot of points. There's 75 points that have nothing to do with the final grade. So every paper's worth about 175 points if you thought of it as a complete unit. Okay, so first up is going to be Alexis. You're the first one turned in, so let's go. All right, so let me see if I can make this bigger. So the main conflict is the fear that the shadows in my room create at night. So you're afraid of the dark in a way, maybe? That's what be, okay. Many things can scare a person, but the shadows in my room scare me the most, especially when they move around at night. They implant thoughts of fear into my head and how much relief I feel when they finally leave in the morning. I'm a little iffy about things in the dark at night, so I'm old and scared. What can I say? It's what's happening. The length of the essay is the course of one night. Okay. I hope that the essay will make the reader feel sort of a fear and relief that I will feel writing it. Maybe by writing about it, you will help control. There we go. Is that getting bigger? I would try to read it off there, but I don't think I can. Okay. Let's see. Yes, because I will write about how they move and the fear I feel when I see them, as well as the amount of relief I feel when they're gone. Alexis, you go by Alexis or Alex? Thought I'd ask. Oh, there's Claire. Okay. Let's just say, so you're going to be writing about something that scares you. Not a problem. Just so long as nothing eats you in the middle of the night, we'll be okay, because I don't like horror things. So, okay, that's looking pretty good. Let me push that out, come over here. So you can see it's not going to take long to do this, I don't think. There we go. I have to remember where it's at. So I just put 25 points in for it. That's quick. I can tell. It sounds like it's going to be interesting. Next up is Scotland. Like the country of Scotland? I don't think so. All right. The main source of tension in my essay is starting at a new school as a junior. That would be tough, particularly since you're going to be at a small school. We have Abernathy's the biggest school. Abernathy's small 3A, right? Small 3A? Nod your head? Okay, cool. And let's just say, when you're in a small school and half of those kids have been in class together forever, since kindergarten, since pre-K, you know, it's hard to mesh into something like that. I moved into my town in the 5th grade, so it was a little bit easier. So, but then, you know, then I was ready to get out of there by my junior, senior year, so come up to love it. Let's see, the time for my essay is one school day, but the first day of school, all right. The emotional response my narrative creates in me is empathy, and I hope to draw empathy from the reader as well. You want us to feel sorry or to understand. Anybody ever been the new kid in school? No? My dad was military, so I was always, it seemed like the new kid in school. And yes, because I will talk about how nervous I was on the first day. Sounds pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. Some different ones. So there's lots of things you can write about. There's a huge topic list in there. Sydney. I have a granddaughter named Sydney. My sister. The conflict is her turn in mental health during quarantine. With COVID-19 hitting in my sister's 7th grade year, she started to spend all of her time in a room, and within 3 years her mental health declined. That's scary. That's a whole different kind of scary, isn't it? Okay. from quarantine to now, so 3 years. And like, obviously, Sydney's not gonna write about every little thing that happened. She's just gonna pick out some major events over the course about her sister. And I'm so sorry to hear about that. But I think one of the nice things is mental health is becoming much more, I don't wanna say acceptable, but people are more, aware of it, and it's not hidden like it used to be. I had a mother who suffered with depression. She had shock therapy when she was young, yeah. So, you didn't go around telling people that your parents had shock therapy, okay? Or they hit you with electric shock? It might explain a lot of things about mom. Let's see. The topic makes you feel worried and guilty. So because maybe you could have done something. Concern is where the real mental health problems. Okay, the statement does feel okay, that looks good. See how fast this is going? The other thing to be aware of, just as a heads up this week, you have a grammar quiz. No, wait, where are we at? Turn and drive. You have a grammar quiz on Friday over comma splices and fused run-on sentences, and those are real problems for a lot of students. I've had a lot. Okay, Leah. Let's see. The conflict is hiding the secret place from any intruders. Let's see. I was sure my secret hiding place was somewhere that could never be found, but it was up to my sneaking performance to determine if it would be exposed. So I can't tell if she's going to write a fictional narrative or if this is something personal right now at this point. So that's okay. About 3 hours, okay. The tone is a feeling of nervousness and suspense. You're going to do it. About putting a letter in a secret hiding place in chronological order. Okay. So if you put a letter, I'm just going to tell you, if you put a letter in a secret hiding place, then the whole point is, who's the letter to? Are you with me? That's my first question. Who is she writing to that she's hiding this letter? And do they have access to that secret place also? And who might get it? Okay. I'm getting intrigued. Sounds like it's going to be good, y'all. All right. We're up to Carly. Or Carly? C-I-R-O-L-Y, Central? Okay. My source is my love life and how it is so bad. Okay, Carly, this is awesome. This sounds depressing, actually. Many go through life looking for love, but it destroys you when you need it the most. There's some smiles here in the room with me. Yeah, it sucks when you're young and in love, and they don't love you back. I remember. I will be talking about a 3-month time period, okay. I will write about loneliness and despair, but turn it into laughter and happiness. That's good to hear. I think the reader will see the loneliness more than the happiness. And yes, of course, when I wanted love and affection, I got the complete opposite. Carly, my only comment is you cannot spell. You need to work on that, okay? Because that's a lot of misspelled words in there. But I'm not going to count that on the outline. All right? That's not important. Layla, okay. The conflict is my sister having the responsibility of raising me. Ooh. Okay, that's interesting. It sounds like things may be, some issues might be going on with your family. The length of time in your essay is 15 years. Okay, I feel that my essay will portray guilt and empathy along with the respect I have towards my sister. And you feel that they will pick up on it. Okay. I've stated my, all right, this will be interesting. It's one of the nice things about the narrative, instead of having you jump right out automatically into academic writing, is that it gives me a chance to know something about you guys. Whether you're writing fiction, people who write fiction, they're a whole different kind of person. I'm just going to say that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But so it gives me a clue into your personalities and what's going on with you, okay? Let's see. Here we go. All right, next up is Ariel. A whole new world, right? No, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's Jasmine. Ariel's going to be under the sea, right? Do you know how many, when the Little Mermaid first came out, that was back in the 90s, how many little girls were named Ariel? It was amazing. Let's see, the conflict of my essay is rude people ordering, oh God. Anybody ever worked retail and had to deal with customers? Oh. I hate to work at the drive-thru window at Dairy Queen, so I'm going with the notion that Ariel must be from Abernathy, because I'm pretty sure the other places don't have Dairy Queens. Let's see, wait, is there a Dairy Queen in Crosbyton? No? Okay. I'm pretty sure there's not one in Lorenzo. The Lorenzo's High School has a bomb shelter in the basement. That's where the cafeteria is. Maybe that's, okay. I've been there, it's kind of cool. Because customers give me a bad attitude, order where they are not supposed to, and call me names when I can't hear them. Now I'm gonna be nicer when I go through the drive-through at Sonic, okay? The time limit is 2 weeks from today. The emotional response I will have to this essay is annoyance and frustration. I do think that the reader will have a similar reaction because no one will want to be treated like that in their place of work. Yes, it does, because it will describe all the reasons why I don't like that part of my job. All right, interesting, because I'm having to deal with the fact that I took my tire into discount, took my car into Discount Tire on Friday, and they fixed it, there was supposedly nothing wrong, and I had a flat tire Sunday morning on the same tire. So, I have to decide how I'm going to approach them on that. I'm not gonna be mean, I might be a little firm, I'm not gonna cuss or anything. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because people blame, it's not necessarily the person you're talking to's fault, kind of cool. Colton, let's see. The main source of tension in my essays is my parents were right. Okay, he's going off of that one. Everyone says that life can change in the blink of an eye, right? Well, mine only took one sharp turn for everything to flip upside down. Does that sound like a car wreck or something? That's what it sounds like. Okay. Essay will be over half a day period of time, a reality check or a sense of realization towards the reader, and I hope the reader feels the same. And guys, I love the fact that you're telling me to think. Please, capitalize I for the singular first person pronoun, okay? I should be a capital I, not a little I. I got a paragraph where half of them were little I's. Now, guys, that was, 30 points. Let's get it done. And yes, my parents were right. When they told me to drive smart, it was a good guess on my part, wasn't it? Okay. All right. I'm assuming you were hurt, too. And definitely, whatever you were driving, probably a pickup truck. I think somebody would be, doesn't it sound like a...
She said, yeah.
They said, yeah, awesome, okay. My brother did that. I just thought I'd tell you, his senior year, he had a pickup truck and he rolled it. And, he was luckily, he wasn't hurt. So it's kind of like deja vu for me. Okay, we're up to Michaela. The source of tension will be internal emotional conflict of the main character. All right. We've got somebody using literary terms. You think you know everything about your life until someone or something comes along that completely destroys everything you thought you knew. Sounds like a family secret came out. Maybe. The story takes place over the course of one night. The essay invokes anxiety and distress in the writer with a slight edge and will create a sense of compassion and sympathy in the reader. Okay. This will take place under the starry sky as the main character discovers that everything she had been told in her whole life was a complete lie. All right, sounds like something's happening within the family. I'm just guessing. Okay, we've got Rayleigh. I hope I'm saying that's right, Rayleigh. The more you know, the more you can challenge the ideas of others. What if knowledge is in fact our greatest weakness? All right, be careful about using questions. Okay. I haven't said it, I didn't say it with the paragraph, and I've only had one person so far leave me with a question at the end of their paragraph. They left me with a question. Avoid using questions with me. Because if you don't answer the question, how would I know the right answer? You know what I'm saying? It's your essay. So don't use questions. It's okay on this outline, but be careful about them. Unless you're going to answer them. Switch over. There we go. Okay. Limited time from middle school to now. Well, that could be 3 to 4 years. Questioning almost doubtful response. Let's see. My incidents or history teachers being upset with me over me further detailing their lesson plans with the facts about history I've learned in old textbooks. Okay, that sounds intriguing. Correcting your teacher. I don't know. I'm just going to warn you. If I make a mistake, please tell me, because I don't have to be right all the time. But there are professors, when you get into college, do not tell them they are wrong. Okay? If you're going to do that, you might just want to take a different class, get a different instructor. I'm just telling you. And middle school and high school, it depends on who your teachers are. Okay? Interesting. Oh, Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden tree. Okay, whoa, we've got paragraphs. Look at her 6th grade history teacher, 7th grade history, 8th grade history. Okay. Okay, you really need to learn how to spell knowledge. That's the other thing I'm going to tell you, okay, because you misspelled it a couple times in there, Rayleigh. So, this was a discussion board, again, not a problem, but make sure when you get to the paper that you work on that. Kylie Patterson, okay. The main conflict in my essay is something that happened when I was a kid. So do you see, this is helping you guys kind of see what I'm figuring out from what you've written. Everyone remembers the crazy things that happened when they were a kid, but don't realize how those events help shape their future. Okay, it takes the span of a week. You're feeling anxious and fear. I remember feeling as a kid, and I hope that from my essay the reader can tell how scared. Okay. I think the example fully supports the topic I've chosen because I'm writing about something that happened as a kid that gave me new fear that continues to stay with me for a long time. Wow. Okay. Sometimes I like the personal things. I'm just going to say when I was at Tech, when I was a TA at Tech, I had the one student write about twirling the fire baton at halftime. That was the big thing in her life. And then the other student wrote about a date rape. So, they can run the gamut. The only thing I have to be concerned about is if you write anything that indicates, issues that might lean towards inflicting self-harm, I have to let somebody know in that instance. So, I'm just throwing that out there. All teachers we have to notify somebody when that happens. We're expected to. Alejandro, the source of tension in my essay will talk about the struggle of my mother's childhood and how she conquered her conflict. Mom got in a lot of trouble when she was a kid, taking care of her sisters like they were her own, and overcame many obstacles in her life. It will be over 5 years of mother's childhood. So we're going to get a really good picture about your mom. Make sure you give us your mom's name. Don't forget names. If you're writing about somebody else, you need to give their names, please. And maybe relate to what their mom or dad had to overcome. I think that this essay will make more teens' kids appreciate their parents and make a stronger emotional bond between them. Okay. What describes? Okay. Sounds interesting. It's going to be some fun stuff to read. What are y'all thinking? Are you thinking yours are falling in with what we're hearing so far? Okay. Maricela. The conflict in my essay is me having to switch between two different schools many times. That's tough. But the same schools you have to switch between, that's kind of interesting. I hate walking into a school that you just left, you're all embarrassed to be back, then you have to get caught up to everybody on schoolwork, and if that's not bad enough, you have to move right after you make friends. 3rd through the 5th grade. Again, I was a military brat. We moved in the middle of the 1st grade for me. We moved at the end of the 3rd grade. We were stationed in Alaska, and the earthquake hit in '64, and they shipped all non-essential personnel out. So I went out and finished the school in El Dorado, Texas, where I ended up graduating later on. Then we moved to California, so a lot of different things going on. So I can relate to that. The emotional response of the narrative gives me is embarrassment and sadness. The statement fully supports the topic. Okay. Sounds interesting. Now, maybe I'm going to be sad now. Okay, Rayleigh. I was writing about the time I summited a mountain with my youth group. Okay. The source of tension would be that the guides were mourning the death of a friend. Oh. So I'm assuming you mean when you say summited, you mean you got to the top of the mountain. Is that how they say it? I'm not a mountain climber, so. Even at the top of the mountain, they found themselves at the lowest point a person could be at. Nice juxtaposition there. Do you see that you're at the height of where you could be physically, but emotionally you're at the lowest? Okay. Length of time span, which is about 30 minutes. I think that seems unreasonable in a way, that you get to the peak of a mountain. Was it really a mountain, or was it, I'm just pointing out that 30 minutes to get to the peak of a mountain is kind of quick. I think this essay could tug at the heartstrings of those who have lost someone important, and it should. If you've lost a friend, come to you. Okay. I think my statement literally supports the incident that happened because we were actually on the top of a mountain, experienced a mountain of pain. Some nice parallelism going in there. Melise? I think when I come to see you guys, you can tell me how I mispronounce your names, okay? The conflict of my essay is waiting in the ER, not knowing if my grandmother was going to be okay. I've spent a lot of time, 2 years ago, sitting in the ER at UMC, and it is no fun. Sometimes waiting is the hardest thing you can do. Just watch the clock tick, knowing the outcome inside of it. The time of my essay is one day. The emotions I feel as the author. So see, do you see what I'm doing? Every time I read your essay, I'm connecting to what you're trying to say. Because good writing can bring in a connection from the reader. And that's what you're after. That's kind of what the focus is here. So, you felt anxiety and worried and relief when the doctor's coming in saying she was going to be all right. It took them 48 hours, it took them 2.5 days to figure out what was wrong with my husband before he was diagnosed with a stroke. He had to fall in the hospital for them to go take a picture of his brain, so. I feel like my topic is supported by my statement because as my grandmother was coding, oh my gosh, all we were permitted to do was sit in the waiting room and wait. That sounds, a lot of excitement going on in there, just, my husband never coded, thank heavens. He just had a bad stroke. Thalia. I'm actually rereading one of the Percy Jackson series, and Thalia's in it, so kind of cool. Anybody else a Percy Jackson fan? Okay. See, she's smiling at me. I'm not like this here. She can be my favorite one now, because you guys don't talk about books to me. The conflict of my essay would be deciding who to live with. That's a big decision. Saying goodbye to your biological parents can be hard, even when you know that there are better parents out there. I feel sad for that. The length of time is 2.5 years. The emotional response I experienced was happiness because I was in a better, safer place, but also guilt. Tough, tough, tough one. See, I'm already empathizing, okay? The incident does support my statement fully because choosing who to live with was very difficult. But the fact that you were old enough to be able to choose is a blessing, I guess, right? Okay. We're up to Lucero. This is the second time I've had a Lucero. It's not that usual of a name, you know it? Let's see. The source of tension in my essay will be me starting the first day at work and not knowing what to do. Your first day is always nerve-wracking, especially your first day at work. Try it being your first day of teaching. The only good news was I knew more than those kids I was teaching, so that was helpful. And that's been 30 years ago. I don't know, a long time ago. The length of time is 1 day. The emotional response that it's okay to be nervous and mess up when something is completely new to you. Yeah, good point. Yes, because I always talked about how nervous I was on the first day at work. We can relate to that. First day at work, they're trying to teach you stuff. It's like, I always love it when somebody, you get the first day somebody's being trained, and so instead of one person coming, 2 people come, and you're like, when you're in the doctor's office, nothing better than having a doctor in training. I don't know this person, why are they gonna get to see me, you know, in various stages of nakedness, right? And you brought this stranger in, don't do that. Yeah. Shannon, all right, let's see. Okay, this is the stress you had before trying out for cheerleader. Yeah, it is a stressful time, particularly because it is so important to middle school and high school girls, you know. 4-day time span, gosh, and yeah, the emotional response that everyone can relate, going through a stressful and nerve-wracking time, whether it's your first day on your job, trying out for cheerleader, deciding who you're going to live with. See how there's some relationships there? And everything has to take place in 15 minutes. That's a little bit more stressful. Okay, let's see. Emily, main conflict is my parents' divorce. Already a tough one. But as I adjusted, it became easier. Okay, the length of time will be 4 years. Fear and sadness, but as it got easier, I was hopeful. I think the reader will have the same response. Because divorce is especially hard on young kids, yeah. Does anybody have divorced parents? Oh, wow. That's 60% of this class. That's a lot. My daughter's kind of like, Mom, you're the only person I know from the kids she grew up with whose parents are still married. Aren't you tired to get a divorce? Yeah. No. And so that's one of those deals that makes the decision to get married that much harder if you know it's, because people divorce so frequently these days. Ashley, let's see, is depression. Depression is nothing to joke about, especially when some of your family members have or are still undergoing it. Yeah, my mother suffered from depression, so. The length of time in my essay would be multiple different years. That's kind of redundant, multiple different years, isn't it? The emotional response is worry and fear. I think the reader will have the same response because they would be worried for their family and they would have the fear of losing family. Yeah, my mother, when she was young, I said she went through shock therapy. All this stuff came out after my father passed away. And we're just like, oh, she decided she better tell us some stuff. So, at one point in time, she committed herself to Timberlawn in Dallas. It's a psychiatric inpatient thing. And then we all had to fly out and go through therapy with her. That sucked. I'm just telling you, that was tough. Jesus, or Jesus, whichever one. I like Jesus better, don't you? How do you say, is it plurality? The conflict of the story is me meeting my biological family. I never knew if it was ever gonna be the right time to meet them. 4 hours, the tone is one of nervousness, the mood of suspense and anger, and hopefully you can get those of us to feel that with you. Yes, because this nerve-wracking event that has happened was filled with all kinds of emotion. That's like sitting through therapy with your mother. Zach. The conflict is the good and bad and good influences my dad impacted on me. Fathers can impact the person you become based on the influence they had on you. The time length is from the earliest point of influence till now. So nostalgic is how you feel and how, okay, but I think you felt a little bit more nostalgic. Some anger?
I was gonna put reflective, but reflective wasn't really.
But nostalgic works, okay. And so, yes, you think you've covered it, okay. All right. I'll be waiting to see that. Not that I don't look at, I will be seeing his narrative, because he's going to come in and he wants some help, so I'm gonna help him with it. But we're having to reschedule from today, since I have to go get my car fixed, okay? But, and they haven't set up tutoring times at Reshed, so I need to find out what's going on with that, to help everybody out. Kimbra. The conflict in my essay is my older sister growing up, and my statement is, life can be harder growing up by yourself. So, she's quite a bit older than you, from length of time of 6 years, sad and angry. I think the reader will be able to think of a time they've grown apart from someone close to them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not super close with my brother, who lives about 5 minutes away from me. His wife doesn't really like me that much, I don't think. I don't understand why. Yeah, I do understand why. The main battle is main conflict is my battle with my autoimmune myasthenia gravis. Has brought many challenges. Wow, that is unreal. I actually had a great aunt who had myasthenia gravis. So, okay, the length of time is 4 years. My emotional response is in my essay is the repetitive feeling of being trapped, feeling despair and happiness, but also some hope, wishfulness and gratefulness. Wow. Yes, I believe it does, because it was a struggle to fight, but I prevailed and healed in the end. Okay. Sarah, I'll be looking forward to that, in the sense that it's something very physically devastating. All right, Charlie. The conflict within my essay is making the choice to quit cross country my senior year. Yeah. I refused to run track my senior year. We didn't have cross country. I'm that old. They didn't have cross country, okay. It wasn't like it was a great loss to the team either, so. Okay, cross country. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to make a decision because we don't know. Well, let's be honest, it's a time commitment, and it's early on Saturday mornings, right? My granddaughter was supposed to run in a cross-country meet Saturday, but she told her mom, she said, no, the coach told me I didn't need to run. She's fast in short distances, but she doesn't really like cross-country. They put her in it for conditioning to get ready for track season, so. It takes 3 or 4 months. The emotional response is stress and struggle, juggling so many different things. When you're committed to a lot, and that does happen in small schools. When you're in a small school, okay, you can be a cheerleader, you can be a band, you can be on the football team, you could be a trainer, you could be involved in lots of other stuff. If you're an FFA person, you're showing stock, so you got pigs you got to start getting ready, or steers, whatever you show, lamb. So I understand that commitment, and it's very taxing. Okay. So something had to go by the wayside. I can understand that, definitely. Let's see, Skylar. Okay, don't worry, if you accidentally do a creative thread and it's wrong, don't panic about it, it's not a big deal. Just go back and create another one, put it in there. My conflict is my dad disappearing, and dealing with that as I grew up. When my dad disappeared, a lot of things disappeared with him, like the family, childhood, and sense of safety. Wow, 8 to 12. Anger, sadness, I think if one is empathetic, I'm already empathetic to this whole thing, yes it does. That's tough. Maybe as you hear about other people's bad things, you feel like yours is maybe not as bad. You know what I'm saying? When we go through something, sometimes we think we're alone too, so you don't think anybody else ever has problems. So this may be showing that. Piper, the conflict would be the tornado hitting my family and me in the middle of the night. Wow, we started out as a normal day, soon became one of the worst experiences. Wow. One day, emotional response is apprehension because we did not know what was happening, but we knew something bad was about to come. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you survived. That's like being in the earthquake. It happened so long ago, people don't think about it, the one in Alaska. But at the time, it was 3 or 4 days before our families in Wisconsin and Texas could even know we survived an earthquake, because when the earthquake hit there, it destroyed all phone lines their lines. They're either cable under the ocean coming to the west coast, or their lines going through Canada. And we couldn't get in touch with anybody till then, so they had to worry about us, so. And it was pretty massive. I was 9 years old. Very scary, so I can understand. Claire, let's see what you got here. The conflict in my essays. Growing up in the small now has negatively affected me. Anna Nicole Smith. Interesting person to quote. If you don't know who Anna Nicole Smith is, you guys might want to look her up just Google her. She married a really wealthy old man. She was like in her early 20s, and he was like in his late 80s, right? What now, you're from? Monday, oh, yeah, and that's Munday, right? Okay. How many did you graduate with? 14, all right. Making everybody feel better. Lorenzo and Crosbyton feel bigger now. Hey, Crosbyton, congratulations on your football win. They've had tough seasons the last few years, so I was glad to see that they won. They play Monday? Okay. Oh, that's why. Okay. So, beat up on the little guys. All right. That's, hey, you get your wins where you can find them. It's like Tech barely beating Stephen F. Austin. So, you're going to talk about your junior and senior years? Okay. Oh, junior high and high school years. It's a mix of positive and negative feelings about growing up in a small town. Did you actually live in town, or were you outside of town? Okay. What do your parents do?
My mom teaches at the elementary, and my dad was too.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess they felt like there were less trouble for you to get in Monday than there would be in Lubbock.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I believe the incident does fully support it. A main point in my essay would be, everyone living in my town knows too much about what is, okay, everybody, y'all listen to this, because everybody at one of these schools this can relate to, is how everyone living in your town knows too much about what is going on in each other's lives and tries to be overly involved in people's personal issues. Yeah, that's true. So it makes me feel, I think my school was over twice as big as yours. No, I can get that, so, let's see what we're at. We should be gotten through quite a few. What are we at time-wise? Okay, 9:33, oh, we're doing good. JC, you're up next, okay. The conflict in my essay is helping others. The statement, oh, you're gonna do having $1 million will show true character. I like the way you're doing it. The length of time is when you get the money until you have accomplished your goals. I think this essay creates happiness, but also sadness, okay. So you're gonna be doing, what are you gonna do with, you got 3 things you're gonna do with your million, or?
I have 2.
2, okay, that's so long as you get 500 words minimum, and trust, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm getting a call from Granbury, Texas, decline. I don't know who it is, but I hope it's not my sister-in-law calling me. I don't know anybody, do y'all know anybody in Granbury? Like, we would know he's the same person. Well, this is interesting, so Claire, now Megan's coming up, so we'll have done everybody's right now, except for Jesse, who's gonna get it done pretty quick, right? The conflict of my essay is wanting to give up in high school. By not giving up, I got to experience my greatest accomplishments to better my education, go to college. So you're talking about your 4 years in high school. You went to, Estacado, okay. The emotional response would be helpfulness, okay, all right. Just remember to capitalize those I's for me, okay?
I felt the same way as her.
Well, you know each other, so. Neither of you were in do they still have the medical arts program, the medical program over there?
I was in it.
You were in it? Okay. No, you weren't?
Brendan was one of the,
Okay.
like the TA program.
Okay.
I was not. I took PCT.
Oh, wow. That's all. We went through all of them. Dadgum, I'm fast and good, okay? No, I'm surprised, because this is my largest section, which is at about, I'm not sure, I'm gonna have to go back and reprint, because there's been people moving around and things like that. Wow, I didn't expect that to go that quick. Excuse me, quickly, I need to use the adverb. Okay. Get over here. Okay, I'm gonna make this smaller so I can see better. Okay. 10:35. I really expected it to take longer. Any of you have questions for me about this? All right, now, the things I want to reiterate are, if I mentioned you had some things wrong with your heading or your paragraph spacing, remember to go to, if you need to find that document for formatting items correctly, go into course content. I'm trying to get out of the grade book so you can't see what other people's grades are. And go into week 1. And as you scroll through week 1, there's a discussion board in there you need to participate in, okay? Even though nobody's gonna respond to you, you can at least respond to others, okay? Formatting documents for class. Open that up. And I'm just gonna take the font up so you can see it. This didn't happen in this class, but I had my next section where I had people I was like, where were they paying attention? Because remember I went over this on Monday. Didn't I go over this on Monday, the first day of class? I think it is, right? Remember, you put your name there, Ms. Thompson, and you need to change the section number to the appropriate section number. I got a lot of 159s. You guys didn't change that. Remember, the high schools are 441, and the SPC students are section 200. So you need to change that to the appropriate section. And then you need to make sure that you always do day, month, year, and you give me the words, don't do the slashes, because when you do the slashes, everybody did 9/3/2017, okay? So, but this document's in there. Notice how personal paragraph is on its own line. It's the next double-spaced line underneath it. And then when we are doing a paragraph, I'm gonna shrink down here. Please notice how the paragraph indents, and then 5 spaces or 1 tab. And then the other thing that has happened is, down here it says, the document is always double-spaced and the first line of the paragraph indents 5 spaces. Do you know how many people's ends of their paragraph had that on it? Several. So make sure that you take off anything that's my words, okay? But don't panic. All right, so be sure to do that. So that's formatting documents for me. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else to do. I just expected it to take longer. Crazy me. Oh, I gotta hit done. That's why it's so strange on my phone. All right. I'm sitting here. I literally didn't expect anything. One of the things that you could do if you want some help to look at some good stuff is go into the textbook. Let me open it up. And I'll just go into section, whichever section shows up first. It really doesn't matter since it's all the same book. And narrative is going to be, I'm gonna show you because I don't want to bother to look on my syllabus. So I'm gonna come over to the table of contents. Go to patterns of essay development. That's the quick way to do it sometimes. And then I'm going to scroll down here and look for narration. And again, this is the way you can do well on those. This tells you what it's going to show you how to do. And then they give you some examples. But remember, don't click the right arrow or the left arrow. That takes you to the next chapter. You have to scroll down. All of the chapters are continuous scroll. I don't know if you can see, but over here on the side where you have remember you've got the little box that tells you how many pages, you know how it shows you, the bigger the box, the fewer pages you're looking at. You can see this is very tiny. So these were 2 good stories. The one about taking on a disability, and then A Night of Violence. you know, if you need to look at those, you can. I was gonna go to the, okay, make a note for yourselves that using dialogue, if you decide to have people talk in your narrative, you need to do dialogue correctly. I'm not gonna stop and teach it. All you have to do is come here, and you're gonna see it's, just write down page 229. If you're gonna do dialogue, you need to go back and do that, because you have to punctuate it correctly. So you've got to make sure that things look correctly. So some rules for using dialogue continues on to 230. Place quotation marks around the words and start new paragraph. Start new paragraph when a new character begins speaking. Okay? That's the one thing people don't do that. And, they give you one, this was in the professional essay by Lou, about Lou's place. It's a great little story. I hope you read it. Record people's words exactly as they speak, but make sure that you use, you know, if you say wanna, when you're doing dialogue, it's okay, because I'll realize that you're recording what they're speaking, so watch out for that. Make sure you know who's speaking, that's a tough one. Set off taglines from quotations with commas. As is, let me go down a little bit. As is, used in the middle of a quotation. So you're looking at 229 through 231 is where dialogue is at, okay? And so, just as a heads up. All right, so that's really all I've got for today. So if you've got any questions, I'm good. Who would think I'd get through this? That's because everybody turned it in, okay? I'm like, okay, I may go slower the next one. I just assume, I've had up to 40 in my ITV classes, so I'm just used to having larger groups. This is my smallest ITV classes in a while. They're excited, they're gonna leave and head out, go get some breakfast somewhere, right? Okay. Just a few minutes early, okay? My daughter went to the Kane Brown concert Friday night. She kept sending videos, you know, and now when you get videos, they're teeny tiny, and you have to pray that you can open them up and see them. Have you got some questions for me? I'm gonna mute my mic while I talk with Jesse. Hey, just as a heads up, if you see previous quizzes opening up, that's so that Jessie can make up the work. She transferred into the class late last week, so we're trying to help her out. Because she needed to get her classes, that's okay, she needed to get her classes a lot closer to home, right? And a lot less commute, yeah.
Your voice typing.
Oh, crud. Dadgummit, that drives me crazy when that happens. I'm bad about it, too. So, yes, we'll set them up. Let's talk Wednesday, and because I don't want you to try to take 6 quizzes this week. That's unrealistic on my part for you to try to make it work that fast, okay?
Okay.
So what we might work on is you get these, let me look at the syllabus and we'll see.
Well, my history teacher, he was like, do chapter 1 through 5 notes, and then he was like, be prepared to take a quiz in class on your first day. I was like, oh, okay. So I did it all last night.
That's a lot. Well, the good news is I'm not gonna, I want you to be successful, and so,
That's kind of the reason I came here, 'cause
yeah.
I,
Yeah, okay. I hate that one. I had to delete about 40 lines of text. Let's see, so this week is the grammar quiz. What we might do is I might go ahead and open up chapters 1 and 2. Actually, no, chapters 1 and 2 quizzes, okay? And so, I'm gonna show.
That comes from the textbook?
Huh?
That comes from the textbook?
That comes from the textbook. I'm gonna do a quick intro to this, okay? So when you're in the class, let me get out of there. So, when you go into 200, when you're in your section, go to textbook. All right, it's one of those menu items on the side, and then you open it up, and you might have to put some credentials in, just the first time.
Fine.
Now, you're not gonna see all these options. I see every single section I teach.
Oh, I have history and math and.
Do they
your
all
class
show up
already.
too? Okay,
Mhm.
so be sure you go down to section 200, view course materials, then you go start reading, okay? So it actually, I give you the page numbers here, but when you see chapters, it's a little, just go to table of contents, okay? Let's see, the first readings were on page 2. So wherever you're at, you can just come up here and type in page 2, and it will take you to page 2. Just exit out of the table of contents, and you can see, come on, fill in. That's interesting why it's doing that. Let me make it smaller. There we go. Make it smaller, okay. That's what I need to do. So here's chapter, 1. And do the same thing. You can just kind of make notes for what pages things are on. Okay, when you finish the chapter, oh, don't scroll the wrong direction. I hate it when mice do that. Or I'm gonna pull it all the way down. There's a lot of exercises in there. You don't have to do them. The main idea is get what the writing process is about. So when you're here, when you get through page, you're gonna see, it comes up to page 23, so it says it's 2 through 23. You can either put in 24, or you can just click next content. That takes you to the next chapter, okay? Because if you do it this way, if I click this again, it takes you to chapter 3.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why, if you want to be, when you're in the chapter, you scroll. You have to scroll through it.
Yeah, I was a little lost, because I started reading through it, and I was like, why does it keep going to different chapters?
Well, the reason we do books this way is because they're about, 70% cheaper to do an e-textbook than it is to have a hard copy. The hard copies run almost $100. That's too much, way too much.
Like at Leveland, I have purchased my books already.
So did you get all your money back?
I don't know how to do that.
You'll have to go back to the bookstore there. Or you can go in here and say, hey, I bought my books at Leveland, can I return them here? If you've got your receipt, or was it financial aid?
It was financial aid.
Okay, you can ask in here, but you can go in here and say, I need to talk to somebody about returning books. I was originally out at Leveland, but I'm now coming to Reese, and I need to return books for classes, because I have different books.
Okay.
Okay, and say, can I do it here, or do I need to go back to Leveland? All right, that's,
I didn't know I could do that.
well, you should, it's the bookstore, they're all the same bookstore, they're just in different locations. So that's how you'll get into that. That's how you get to the textbook and look through it. All right, so I'm gonna go back into here. Are you familiar at all with Blackboard? Or is this your
Yes.
first? Okay, so
Yeah,
you
I've already started Blackboard.
Okay, so come back in here, so you'll go to, for everything else, the book is there. If you need to get in touch with me instead of sending me emails, you can go into, well, that's okay, emails are okay. I'm gonna remember you because you joined late.
Yeah.
And that JESSI, it just sticks in my mind.
No,
So-
it was just, we were emailing back and forth, and I was like, can I switch? Wait, can I stay?
Yeah,
It was just like a back and forth.
yeah, that's okay, yeah, but we're gonna remember, so, when you go into instructor information, down here it's called course messages, and it puts anything you send me right into course. When you send me an email, I need to know what section you're in.
Okay.
Well, because I've got about 175 students this semester, so I don't always know where they're from, so I'm assuming they're working on their draft. So when you go into course messages, you just click on it, it takes it a second to open up, and you create a message. You can message Megan if you want to, via this, but if you've got her phone number, that's different.
Yeah.
So you just come up to 2, and you go find my name, there's a list, select recipients for the 2 line.
Your conference is scheduled to end in 2 minutes.
There I am. And then you have to click the greater than caret right here, puts my name over here. And the subject, it might be, couldn't turn in, my paper wouldn't submit, okay? So, couldn't submit essay. So you just come over here and go, I had trouble, so I am attaching it here. You see what you've just done? Here I can see, you couldn't submit the essay, and then you go down and browse your computer and upload whatever document. So I'll just pick Megan's paragraph, okay? And you click submit,